Alrighty then, gang. There's 3 of us now.
Oh yeah.
We're in the final round, so we wanted to close it out. It's like a little mini Misplay for Game podcast. Guest Jambo coming in, and then, you know, me and Tom holding it down as we always do.
Makes up for not going live on Saturday.
Yeah, true. All right, we're good. So we are going to be putting that timer on, and we are going to be going into our final round, as we will not be having Shippy versus Jaden. Instead, we do have Jaden coming in on the left off of the Hunters match that we did see earlier, and then Luke returning to the stream. So
with his Levia X strategy.
I'm excited.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see how these like sort of varied ages of like what constituted Purple's most efficient removal have kind of come back here to the end of BT15. Is tucking with superior mode better than an infinite number of deletes on Levia? We're gonna find out. I think it'll be interesting. I am under the impression that this is kind of one way.
What was that?
JPEG.
Yeah. All right, we're getting. I have no idea. It was sideways, bro. I couldn't tell. It's tail end of the day. The tech issues. You always get tech issues at the start and at the end.
Yeah. So
it makes for a better clip later.
So my general take of this matchup: superior mode is only a beat stick. It will do nothing else in this matchup. It will punch face.
Yep.
And it will maybe resolve its second effect.
The thing I think is really interesting here is that a Hunters player hypothetically poses minimal risk to their early game trash building by just saving every level 4 and 3 Digimon. Yeah. So you can kind of play around Dragomon in a couple ways, but a Levia X it does what it does. We'll have to figure out how these guys approach this matchup. I don't think you make it to unbeaten on Hunters in May 2024 if you don't know what's going on. We'd have to kind of play it out.
Obviously, we saw with the interview that My Beautiful Face just did with Jaden. He's been testing this matchup for a while. He's been grinding this. He's been playing these type of decks ever since BT12 has dropped. So obviously he has a lot of experience on this type of matchup.
And experience looking like it's also coming in second with an excellent opener here for Jaden. If you are going to try and play a tempo game where you're trying to find your pieces and outpace a Leviamon match here, I think that is just about as good as you could have wanted. Obviously, the filter would have been nice. I'm sure Taikis go a long way in this one. But, again, everything to save pieces from going to the discard pile at all costs will keep him moving safer throughout this match.
Jaden will establish the King version Shoutmon to play out the Taiki. Now, obviously, you want to establish your tamers for advantage. That's how Hunters establishes the advantage engine. But into this matchup of Levia, your tamer's always a lot of value, I feel.
Ooh, X-Antibody out of security is not the sort of hit that you want.
He will just play a Watchmaker. He'll look like a past turn. He'll play a Watchmaker, looking at the top 3, grabbing any of those.
Why did that pass him 3? Shouldn't it pass?
Digimon with save in their text, grabbing the summoning circle damage.
Am I stupid? Why did that pass 3?
No, he just passed. And
he passed him 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he just made it look like he passed.
Okay.
A smooth movement from a player, very efficient on their actions and their timing.
Oh, the Pro form coming out potentially could be inspired by the Take variant of Levia.
Absolutely. The list that will not translate over here as we sort of expected it to. The Worlds run famously, you know, we heard all about all the players at Worlds. Just very excited to be playing Cerberus X, Unsuspend Leviamon, but this is a pretty compelling opening here in terms of like accelerating your engine and finding your pieces. I think it's interesting to see from this perspective that as of right now, both players are still able to protect their resources sufficiently so that there are still no 3s and 4s in the drop. And the Hunters players still kind of hanging in there. They get a lot more time if they can continue to material save and save.
I will say though, Luke is in a very bad position. Obviously, we've seen with other players do this. They take slower turns, set up the trading, set up the boosts. But he has just gone Bite and Crush on a King version.
Yep, a 1-check, almost 7k beat stick.
Yeah.
Not really the exciting trade game Levia wants to take with these matchups.
Bite and Crush losing a lot of its core value in this matchup, especially since a lot of the time you're just hard playing it to give it rush, or you're just raising out of breeding to establish those attackers.
A pretty fantastic search off the Clockmon there too. That was, I believe, Superior Mode and Quartzmon.
That is
yeah.
huge tempo there. The amount of search, plus, you know, we were already seeing 4 cross-ups or 3 cross-up sources there, I believe. I get from the camera view. This will definitely go a long ways in keeping the superior mode turn live. Where the caveat here, I wonder, will be what the rush looks like. I don't actually think the Hunters player faces too much pressure until we start to see Levia X full send and start clearing tamers. But even then,
the Serb X coming out.
Yeah, makes a big difference. But even then, Jaden playing really well around, obviously, you'll hear this from Hunters players, dividing your sources. You know, infamously, Black War Greymon Hunters back in BT12 format was a big deal, and adequately dividing up your sources across the different targets makes a big, huge impact over the course of a game. Gonna see, I think we're going kind of a more default stack building approach here. I think this makes a lot of sense from Luke. There's not a necessarily huge amount of value being derived from Leviamon's sort of forced summoning of your opponent's Digimon and their own from the discard pile, making much more aggressive trades that you don't mind getting answered by a Hunter's Digimon, because you'll then have your pieces in the discard pile, can kind of go a long way to catch up a little bit in this phase. We have to see, not 100% convinced that Luke looks super happy with the hand. Might be working their way towards...
I think what boost here into Levia will still keep turn, but I guess he could also try and go for the when attacking timing to go into X antibody to get the evolution and then trigger the pop on the Levia. Yeah. It does have a block anyway, so it would be trying to take out the...
we are
going to go for it.
So it will not pop the clock due to only popping odds, but it will pop one of the tamers.
I feel like, so he passed over, Levia does cost 6 to Evo, which is kind of gross. It's going to take out the Taiki to try and keep the resources low, because you're already passing 3, so you don't gain anything from popping the memory blocker in this instance. Obviously, it is going to get blocked, so it is going to be a save that does give you back something, but it's, with the second body out there, I kind of almost don't like that we didn't see the Gazimon get popped on the when attacking, because you've given yourself a source to be tucked under.
Mm-hmm.
If
we couldn't because it misses timing.
Oh, does it miss timing if it's under? Oh, okay.
Because you make your via X, but because the when attacking window has been missed, you cannot stop with the Serb X.
Okay, that makes sense.
This is why they pay the big bucks, Jambo. I think this is a really interesting line. I like the Clockmon taking the block there particularly because it retains the same amount of sources.
Just tucking your via X under the Gazimon.
Yeah, 3 colors. I guess that's why he did go for, like, try and pop the red source, try and bring it down, but, like, unfortunately for Levia players, it is still a 6. It's just got a lot of vaccine in it.
Draw a card, pop the Gazi, jamming, 1 check.
Whoa!
Biting Crush is huge.
Yeah, just
jam
about as
that.
good a comeback mechanic as you could have wanted here if you're Luke. That's a pretty incredible tempo swing there.
Now,
and obviously, now that's a lot of sources that do finally hit the discard pile.
We'll draw one off the Montimon, though. Making up some small little value, but...
Yeah, especially with that not being a save body, that's a lot of tempo gone. Also, popping the 4th tamer means that Watchmaker can't go sideways. Not that it was going to.
We'll establish the Taiki, put him to 1.
Yeah, I don't hate that.
I think this is interesting as well. If you, let's say you have, hypothetically, a guy named Dragomon on speed dial, you're looking at kind of getting a board accelerated here. That you don't necessarily think your opponent has an answer to. Hidden hand information, obviously, but Luke has seen the revealed superior mode. It is a relatively safe assumption over the course of, I believe we're now on the 7th turn, that it's not super likely to have seen the second one and the quartz off the search. I don't necessarily think this is the sort of thing that can go punished super hard. Just again, one of the main strengths of Leviamon, we talk about it a lot. This is not a deck that if you have been keeping up with the BT15 format, you're going to be surprised to see having that strong security. But golly, it really does get it over the finish line sometimes.
The one downside to the Arresta Superior getting cooked is we didn't get to print the memory off the Gabumon when passing, so the 3-cost pass to get him to 1 actually set up quite nicely, so he's not in a position really to get super cooked, but it was a 4-cost champion, which always stings. No matter what turn it is, having the mem setter down and having to try and 1-choke under it and then having to give over that extra memory always feels bad. So again, this Levia, a deck famously that doesn't use a mem setter or tamers at all. So this low memory game is going to be more and more difficult now that we don't have those early tradings and boosts as extenders like we had before.
We see a slow rebuild on the resources here from Luke on Levia. I think it's really interesting. One of the advantages that they get here out of being able to more aggressively draw from the Gabumon X antibody, the individual 1-of from EX5, is just an increased amount of cards filtered into the hand. the cycle obviously is amazing, but you can't understate just how kind of ridiculously broken Evolving for Nothing is. And every chance to find another Leviamon X is a chance to really put a dent in some of these sources. Jaden, once again, doing a really good job divvying them all up. But if you're Luke, and I'm seeing, I think that's 2 draw inherits under the Uamano down there, I am eyeballing him.
Now, Jaden is in a position where he could potentially just go for evil.
What's also interesting is the 4s are now that there's Biting Crush set, it's compulsory that he evolves the 4s in the back, which does slow him down a turn, because, I mean, Shoutmon King version, you can just go, I don't got a Tamer. But Damimon, if he rips one off the top, that's playing a croc from trash.
Jaden will go to 5 at the start of his main phase.
Very normal deck.
Tapping both used to reduce next execution cost. Tapping 3. Most likely establishing the superior mode right now. Essentially could be a Shoutmon.
Superior, or we could see like the Omega Shout, because like the Superior's not going to get to tuck it under anything, so I wonder if he would just take it off the board. Yeah,
we'll just make the Omni Shout.
Just going to take it off the
board. Rare. And now this Omni Shout will be checking for 2 checks, 8k.
And drawing just about every card you could ever hope to have
4 cards on attack.
If you've not seen Hunters in a while, don't worry, it's still really good at going through its list like this. I was discussing this recently with a... wow, that was a... I was saying Leviamon often get kind of buoyed by its security.
Potentially still just has a lethal here again.
What, just off the rush body
so
again?
Go 2 drop, tap, make the rush Gumdra swing jamming, and then arrest the superior again.
Yeah, I mean, he cleaned it up nice, but I feel like it's one of those plays that would be so quick that he would have done it. Yeah. But then again, also, it's committing a lot of pieces to potentially just die first check in security, because obviously he wins if it's not if it's not one of those big pieces, but also he doesn't have jamming again, so he could just die to not being big enough. Well, he now has, now this Shoutmon has jamming. Is gonna play the Taiki for free.
I think this tantamount to something of calling a bluff here. I think it's interesting to see the value of having, like Jambo mentioned, that the ability to just generate this rush body later also goes sort of a long way in checking these last security, because a Restorgmon is still going to material save and save. You're still going to essentially reduce the total number of vulnerable pieces in your discard pile. If you're Luke, I think your window of ability to recap your position here on the board is probably dwindling quickly. I think you're looking for, now that I say it, a Dragomon and a Leviamon would do pretty great here.
Yep.
But we'll have to find out how that goes.
I do like what Jane's doing here, where he has essentially just realized that the tamers in my hand are dead, so I might as well just play them, because he can't kill them all.
Yeah.
Fellas, I haven't seen a Death X in Leviamon in a little while. I don't think it's going around. I think he might squeak this one in. Interesting to see the 7th Lightning, obviously, big in buoying a rebuild option later, but with the 2 Digimon to pop here first and a lot of sources hitting the trash should this Omni Shoutmon die, it's still a tough call. I don't personally think I've seen enough Restorgmons to confidently say that the rush out isn't still very live. I think we've seen, if I'm correct, that looks like there's one underneath the Omni Shoutmon and one underneath the upper Uamano, but I'm not 100% sure from my perspective here.
Yeah.
Drago. He picked up the speed dial, folks. He's here now.
Let's get it freaky.
It's like, yeah, sorry I'm late, I slept in.
Hanging out with legally distinct Cthulhu, and I was busy.
We'll play the Pokemon. Not getting the Envoy, of course.
I think this is an interesting line. So the Clockmon distinctly here is the source that is not yet under the Tamers. So perhaps Jaden playing around the idea that should he be able to survive this first encounter here, the ability once again to set up that rush jamming could be particularly useful.
Right, looks like we're searching to maybe find a Levia X off the top and speak it into existence. He is set up nicely because now I assume we have a Levia in trash.
We have a Levia. It was one of the first pitches at the start of the game.
Oh, I didn't even realize that the second trash was just things that will kill you dead.
Yeah. I think this is the same Leviamon that was tucked into the Gazimon, if I'm remembering correctly as well.
Yeah.
So this is a very efficient turn here from Luke.
So
You got to marvel Leviamon sometimes. There are famously hunters used to kind of shrug off deletion-focused decks. Your on deletes were not going to bother them when they were not going to the discard pile and being material safe. But Leviamon, nom nom nom, he takes that memory regardless of where you go.
Double Revire.
Yeah,
Two big crocs.
Oh my days!
I don't hate it. Like, we talked about, like, the rush line is still pretty live, but if you manage to materialize just a kill here, then yeah, start just making Levia X's.
Levia X to pop a tamer. Oh, this is beautiful. Just popping the clock one to make sure that he can never actually have access to jamming, so that the security is always a risk.
I guess there's also the possibility that you kill one of the tamers that has an arrestor underneath it, just to make sure that overflowing power isn't an option that we see from Trash.
Also, I like just popping the users to deny the memory, making sure he can only have that free memory per turn.
All right,
Oh,
yes.
popping the Taiki instead.
I guess he's maybe just seeing if he can keep the hand small. We'll head over to the other cameras to see. There's still a decent number of cards in hand. In fact, he's just going to be so kind as to drop
Looks like six, seven?
on the table. So yeah, definitely choosing to keep the hand as small as it can be for now. Because we've gotten through a decent portion of the deck, so there's only so many targets that can be there if they're not already in Trash.
This is such a do or die.
We'll make the third Revire in a single turn.
I was about to say such a do or die moment here for Luke, and he's done it. This is an incredible mounted comeback here.
Yeah, it's not gonna, like, you don't really have to worry too much about
Arrestor in the trash, that's not one in hand.
Yeah, that's huge.
Ruin mode to cap it off.
Yep.
Oh, lovely.
Fantastic.
Wow. I think Luke's taking game one off this position.
Yeah.
Fellas, may I just very quickly love to point out our incredible Bandai TCG art showcase that is playing out here in front of us. All the colors, all the different arts from Leviamon is, people kind of joke how nice all these alts are, that Levia X's base art looks like an alt art from years gone by, but golly, when it pops off like this, you get to see all the glitter and the bang you could ever want for your regionals potential final round. Tough to call. Although, boys, my money at the moment, not looking like a tie.
It's not looking like that. It looks like Luke has been behind this entire game, and then randomly just takes it back.
Yeah,
but that is the power of a Revire in my opinion.
We were talking about how it was looking like a pretty lost game to start with, but I mean, you swim around in murky waters for too long and eventually something will bite.
And we talk about buoying it by security, the trainings off the security, the biting crushes from security. The original biting crush, we lamented that it was trading for a level 4, essentially 2 material drop Digimon, but at this pace, it's moving forward. Terriermon, I kind of think this is an interesting line. I'm always apprehensive giving them Leviamons in Trash again, but obviously with a deficit of biting crushes locked and loaded in delay, have to see how this goes here from Jaden. I think it's will probably prove to be an adequate response just purely off the back that you can remove the ruin mode and stop that from over -5 on the second turn shrink, but as it stands, a tough break if you're Jaden, with a lot of things to get through here.
Yeah, I mean, this one, it didn't have rush, right, because it was a Terriermon turning into it, and there goes Quartzmon.
Wowee.
Lock down all those tamers, all those bodies, and let's get counting, let's bring it back. So we are gonna drag it all the way to a 4 cost, and now this gets a little bit more difficult. He did put all of his eggs pretty much on the field.
I do feel like that is Quartz's like hidden special effect, is that you can randomly just warp the Digivolve from a 5 into it for the cost of like 9.
I'd pay that trade all day. 9 memory for Quartzmon here, when it is essentially the only actual surefire means of adequately preventing this Leviamon clapback, is pretty efficient. We obviously don't know about the other outs to biting crushes here in hand. I don't believe we've seen one. I'm trying to get a little view here at Luke's, but the Protoform under gaogamon.
So we're going to go into either the Dober X, yeah, because it was for 1 rather than the Guru X, which is going to give us a draw 1, trash 1. So we're digging for something. We don't have Raremon memory anymore. And there goes a 5.
Digimon.
We still have a Levia X in trash, so if you can go into a Drago, then the Drago could potentially turn into a Levia X from trash, which would pop the Quartzmon.
This is do or die here from Luke. Can he...
Ooh, Cerberus.
Cerberus for a line here.
he has another Levia in hand, so I think he's just going to go for the Cerberus, take the easy pop. And
We
then
can
next
go Drago
turn,
as well, potentially.
I think the Cerberus is better here because it just locks out a little bit better. You also just get to get the 3-cost play. And are we down to 3 cards left in deck?
Sure looks like it. If you're Jaden, do you ever wonder what that out looks like? I mean, no, realistically, Quartz Burn here is always the safer line.
I don't think the Quartz is making it back to him.
Really? You think we're going with the...
I mean, it's trash 1, and then the Doberex normally would play 1.
What have we got? What's in the Leviamon bag of tricks?
Just anything, really. I don't think it, like, the name specifically matters. Gonna gain back some memory from playing out a Digimon by effects. Oh, actually, maybe from the trashing one. Either way, we're gonna get some memory back, and then we're gonna see the 5-cost Evo into a Levia. Levia is going to pop the lowest. And we're going to gain back 1, but still...
Two
there's
Leviamon.
2 Leviamons.
It's a feeding frenzy.
We are not done yet. I would maybe open pass. I'm not going to hold you. Open pass, or you drop another Gabumon.
Preserve your resources as best as you can. Fellas, the last time I saw this many sideways crocodiles, Steve Irwin is having a bad day. But KnTElixar and company, the young hunters across time. I didn't watch that season of the show, I'll confess.
I don't think anyone did.
But I did like that set.
Very sick little set.
I watched it, and stuff happened. It was Digimon. And then all the protagonists showed up.
Sure did.
And they were like, please tune in.
Makes me laugh every time I see that clip, just for the absolute hilariousness of how big fighter mode is compared to everybody else from all the seasons of the shows. Guy just sort of pulls up and he's like, hello, can I watch table 1 from 40 feet away?
Yeah, he was like the Airbus. Oh, 7-cost Drago?
Like I said, Luke's got him on speed dial. I mean...
What do you play here?
I guess we just make a Leviat X again, and we just pop a guy. I guess that's it, really.
Yeah, I guess.
We have the 7th. Oh, we have the 7th engraved, so we need to filter 7th back.
Ah. That's clever. Gonna lock it down. Draw down to his last card.
Yep.
Pop a tamer, pop the... Well, he pops odds, right? So it would miss popping the odds, but the 7ths are about to send that man to God. How much memory is he getting back off of all the
He's only getting 2 back.
Only 2?
No, 1, sorry. He's
One
only getting
because
one
the
back.
other Levia has just now digivolved.
Yeah, but from the playing
3
by
with
effects.
Veemon X antibodies have hit the board.
Yeah.
Will we now see the... Yes, there they are.
Double
7
7.
lightnings going back into the deck. We'll get to double save.
I just don't know where we go from here. Alright.
But argue with Jaden could just kill him.
Do or die time here from Jaden.
Yeah.
If he finds it, he finds it.
Fellas, I don't believe we've seen all 4 Arrestor Digimons either. So there's still ample opportunity here with 7 memory and a dream.
Digimon He's doing it. Going
Cross
into
up for the big time king mode.
Yo, shout out to the king. What's he playing?
We'll have jamming.
Gosh, this deck does operate on a dime, huh? Very
Watchmaker.
Oh, he's
Wow.
trying to kill him, bro. He's trying to
We'll
kill
find the
him.
Gumdra bottom decking 2 other watchers. Watchmakers.
There really aren't too many
Swing
of those.
4K. Jamming. Hitting the Gobbly.
And then show us the
More memory in a
unsuspend.
dream.
Does he have enough draw power?
3 cards in deck.
Can you Dracmon Digicross here? Dracmon
Gumdra
Digicross.
for 2.
Send back.
Shuffle in the single Tagadoo. Draw 1.
Oh, it's you. Oh, but he doesn't have a card under the source. I think the jamming actually...
Going all in on the jamming might not have had the...
Yeah, he's so
Swing over from
close.
At the last hurdle.
It had to have been 1 away, or it's insecurity.
Yeah, we don't know yet.
Smiles from Mr. Conquest. He's
At the
X1.
last hurdle. Jaden will fall flat, facing down 3 crocodiles of the X antibody. Combined 11 checks on the current board state.
What a lockdown.
You know what? They need it.
Yeah,
there it is.
The last one.
There he was.
Security attacking with the power of friendship.
Tis the season for Magabumon as we go to game 2.
Game 1 in the final round of the Salford Regional.
I think that was a really interesting display here from these two players. One of the things you hear about a lot is the sort of prevalence of just, I'm sure you have a red hybrid player in your local scene discussing the kind of pitfalls of the Leviamon matchup for their beloved sort of swarmed security full of tamer cards. But here, from a Hunters player, a pretty compelling argument for the fact that there is a critical match you can play where those crocodiles cannot get all the kids.
Now, you're in Jane's position. You've just gone down the game in arguably a matchup on the stream you just said that you're extremely confident into. What are you doing? What are you changing in your game plan?
I think he had it pretty much on the nose the first time, but there, we mentioned earlier, there are tipping points in this matchup where biting crushes and security and trainings to produce a third crocodile in one turn probably push the efficiency. You can take a incredible one cost reduction chip engine over the line. And we'd have to see. I'd imagine if you're Jaden, you don't take too much of this one to heart. Sometimes they have it like that and you move forward. But I would love to see how he goes about this. 20 minutes, 19 and some change to make a big dent here in Luke's map. I'd love to draw everyone's attention back to that question mark next to final, though. Is it conceivably a draw here? Do you ever think that comes through, Jambo?
Looking at the other standings of Uganda, if we can. So, table 2 still going on. Both tables already have 4 wins and 1 tie. Table 3, Maninboy takes it down against that dude, locking in his potential top 8. Minikill taking down Shippy on table 4. Sid taking down Iona Rose on table 5. Comkid taking down Blaze Metabe on table 6. X-Titan 24 taking down Zahando on table 7. K-Beebs and Shiny Caterpie still battling out. Saf and Russell Moore still battling out on table 9. And Zia and Kat Lafan still battling out on table 10.
All right.
These guys are getting set up for game 2 here. I think it'll be interesting to see how this shakes out. Again, I don't really see a ton of adaptations in the plan here from Jaden, just to sort of go, well, sometimes it works out the way that they really need it to out of security, and I think the variability of the Hunter's engine, the ability to make different threats at different times and, very efficiently answer threats. Leviamon doesn't always make 6 giant crocodiles. Sometimes it chips you down a couple times first. So the toolbox is deep and the skill set is deeper. We're getting into game 2.
All right. Let's run it in.
Jaden deciding to go first in the matchup.
Now, what's going to be the first tamer we see hit the ground?
Tigeroo every time, right?
Has to be Tigeroo.
Oh.
Watchmaker, the old groovy man.
I mean, he's going to hit. That's going to be a Digimon with save and a Hunter, so...
I feel that you just want to max out on the card advantage aspect of this matchup, of this deck, as much as possible in this matchup. You don't really care about the little small interaction pieces like the Akakimon and like the pop from the King version. You just want to see the cards that are going to win you the game.
Yeah, especially because there's no guarantee that your Taiki's going to stick around for more than 2 turns. You need as much draw early on as you can.
A tamer down again, like we discussed at the start of last game. Big difference in terms of the safety for these chips. A Psychemon now looking much more appealing when you know it's going to save its pieces and not give Dragomon that "hey, you up" text. We see
Agabumon to pass turn.
I don't hate it. Like, if you don't get anything else and it's your cheapest pass, you might as well get something that they have to answer, or like, because there's no tamers, you're not getting crossed up on anything, so you probably aren't actually exploding here. Without a cross-up tamer either, the superior mode won't be able to... The superior mode won't be able to get it.
Hitting the Raemon.
We begin the chip game, gentlemen.
Effect to save, will miss the draw. Twice he's done that.
Yeah, I mean, nerves are on. You're down a game. You do have to lock in.
It's a tall order here, too.
Playing the Taiki, establishing the second color, and then playing a U. The boys, the homies, the enemies turned friends have combined to take down the menace that is the Crocodile DX antibody.
This is a tough challenge here for Jaden, really throwing the gloves down and saying, what can you do with this essentially 5 memory massive swing? I haven't given you any resources in my discard pile, but if you're a Leviamon enjoyer, and you've seen an Octo in hand here, I'm sure you feel a lot better against any of these material save decks, really trying to slow your roll down. And we'll see the Octomon straight off the rip.
We'll play out a token.
Always love to see what people have
Playing
lying around.
out the, a nice little custom-made Fujitsumon token.
It's so clean. Like, at first, I legitimately mistook it for, like, a Pokemon card because of how nice it was. Like a full-art Pokemon card. I was like, no, it's got the layout. It's definitely, like, a token.
Fujitsumon is the Barnacle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, this game is cool.
Will be establishing the Wary Siege, losing majority of its value. Obviously, its value comes from when attacking and its all turns effect. But because Jaden has no actual targets engraved, it is just an 8k guy, which is a bit.
I do wonder if you just swing over it to like make him just go neg from hand. We're gonna go for next antibody, so if he does, he's now gonna be getting piercing at least, so he's not gonna be giving up tempo.
It's an interesting called shot as well. The forced discard on the Fujitsumon really putting the pressure on not having had a chance to save this under a tamer card yet. If Jaden's hand is nothing but 3s and 4s here, it's pretty much curtains. We're gonna get the Leviamon bread and butter, bread and butter, where we full send it here on just an inconsolable amount of security damage with piercing.
Luke is essentially throwing down the gambit. He's saying, I'm going to free check you, out it now, or else I'm going to free check you again.
Yeah. I mean, it's value. You're up a game, and that last game took so long, and I think there's only so many times you can, like, skulk your way out of a bad situation. Like, he really was fighting tooth and nail just to stay in, and eventually just, like, death rolled him. And this time he's just jaws in straight away, and it's like, now it's on you to fight your way out of this.
Digimon when the back against the wall.
Summoning circle.
Down a game. Wow, and you never miss those.
Yeah, he never does you wrong. And now suddenly that Goblimon is a liability.
Chad, if you're having visions of grandeur here, you might be taking hunters to your locals next week. Make sure you hit those Digimons.
Yeah, it's like, actually, I don't understand why people think the deck's bad. Have you considered just getting value every time you play the card?
Yeah.
Whiffing on Digimon could literally never be
going
made.
+1 on every swing?
Yeah, it's just really that easy.
If you're Jaden, I almost wonder how much disruption you can do to the full resource pool of the discard piles in this matchup. Material save being such a absolutely massive stopping air break for Leviamon's momentum in this match, but also preventing Levia X's returning to the discard pile. I mean, sometimes I'm looking at Quartzmon to just stop the Goblimon dying. What if we keep these pieces stuck here? Can really bring your tempo back. If you've been hit for 3 checks on turn 4, it is probably time to try and recoup some time.
It is kind of interesting as well. He chose not to commit pieces to the body because he didn't have rush, so he wasn't going to be getting the draw power from it. And this basically does what you'd expect. It baits out a biting crush because the block was going to come through. If anything, you could maybe say that Luke could have tried to swing the Gobly, but almost the fact that he didn't implies to me that it's his only rookie. So if we do see the push out here and it turns into an Omni Shout, or we get to load Shout King or anything like that, we theoretically could be putting Luke really on the back foot.
Love to draw your attention, gentlemen, to the number of superior modes we've now seen cycled through from Jaden's side. I believe that's 1 in the trash, 1 of the Taiki, and a 3rd from the Fujitsumon discard. So if you're Jaden, you're starting to feel a bit of a pinch on your resource pool.
Yeah, he looks a little bit stressed. Like, he definitely had the shake of the head, so I don't know if he's missing all his level 5s, and that Fujitsu pitch earlier is like coming back to bite him, or we just need to figure out a new route. We're gonna have to go for an awkward route.
Swing 2k. Get a little bit more chipping. Hitting the Cervex.
Oh, he misses the draw again.
I mean, nerves will do that to you. It's a tough real break here for Jaden. And you know, this is part of the appeal of a Leviamon
hard
player.
pass turn on a Tawar.
It really rattles you sometimes. The impending pressure over and over and over again can really put you under. So
now we do not have we have a single Levia engraved, and he will establish the Octo, creating another Fujitsumon token, triggering the biting crush.
We've not seen Jaden's hand. I'm starting to wonder how much he's still got lying around.
Well, we just saw a hard play Tawar into pass.
Yeah, this is pretty dire here for Jaden.
We will save 2. That is a somewhat small upside on an otherwise impending doom.
Yeah, he's definitely looking like he's up the creek without a paddle, and yeah, I mean, Levia is just chilling. He likes these waters.
I really want to bring attention to the Octomon and the value here in this matchup. One of the things we're seeing is that a great adaptation from Luke, if I'm honest, really finding a way to really lock the jaw down. If you were having trouble getting your pieces out from these tamers, and you had to resolve I believe that was a triple Levia X turn game 1, getting Fujitsumon down to really kind of loosen Jaden's grip on his materials early on, and a double Octomon in 9 turns is a great tempo line here. Which cost a minimum 2 Arresterdramon superior modes, and it could have been a lot worse. Great adaptation from Luke going into game 2. This is the sort of thing you expect from these players at the highest level.
He will just pitch the quant.
Yeah, I mean, Luke was a Belphemon player in BT13. He's just basically always been good at the purple stuff. He really understands how to make use of like that hand and then the second hand in the trash economy. And I mean, purple, like, Luga is almost a red deck sometimes in the way that it pushes out and it's just belligerently OTKs you.
Will double hit, adding both X antibodies.
And you can tell we're late in the round because most people,
even the judge has to read it.
Every single time, without fail, when that resolves, it is someone is picking up the card and going, it does what now?
It adds X antibody? What?
Yeah.
We'll add the perfected and the primal profile.
Starting over here for Jaden. We have not seen him swimming in this many resources in a little while.
And player clock, putting Luke back to 1. Grabbing just the Drachmon.
So we do have a rookie for the next turn, but that's if we even make it there.
But now, Luke untapping. 4 bodies on board. 6.
Gentlemen, there's blood in the water.
5 checks. He can sniff it. He can sniff his Machine Drum on playmat. His top 8-0 on the...
Envious no longer of European players who've received their serial omnis. The 7 Demon Lord of Envy will make us green
1 check.
at the goal line.
Swing with Avaya.
There comes the block.
Gain 1. Swing with Gizmon. And checking the Watchmaker. Watchmaker will get a search. But now, Luke can sense it. He can sniff it. Blood is in the water. The crocodile is deadly. And Gabu X will swing for game. Luke Campbell will be your Salford 2024 regional champion.
Fantastically played from both these players, but Luke really showing he has what it takes to operate at these kinds of high-stakes environments. Congratulations to our finalists. What a great match to end this off one.
Yeah, I mean, we said final question mark round, but those two were the last ones there. Round 6, our finals, is going to get secured. Fantastic work, honestly. We're probably going to go get an interview from Luke. He's been chilling. He did drop by. We can send, Mr. Tommy NT.
Let's see if I can remember how to do my day job. It's funny, boys. You go into Digimon mode, and you're like, I think I'll resolve a Fanglongmon. Well, I didn't today, but hypothetically, I could have.
We'll let Jambo vamp for a bit. We're going to make sure the mics are all set up and all that good stuff. And I will make sure the camera is working, so that way we don't have Jambo.jpg going. So we'll leave it with Jambo to just chill it down on the stream. Mr. 2 host was. We'll get ready for our winners.
Budget 1, I'll get in the little cam with you. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We have just had a tremendous finals here in the scorching hot sun of Salford, sat in this historic stadium where many great would-be players have played. And now we've just established a new champion within Digimon, the card game. Luke Campbell will be taking it down with the Leviamon X deck. Again, purple. Purple's a colour, guys. I'm going to say this now. Purple's the best colour in the game. It's just what it is. It was an absolutely tremendous final. Luke Campbell showcasing how he knows exactly what to do in these matchups. Jaden before this match, in the interview, he said he was confident. He knew the matchup. He knew what he was doing. He'd been testing with his Birmingham brothers. But now Luke Campbell has said, nope, we're not doing this here, mate. I'm taking you down, pal. Lovely little best of 3. Sure, it was only 2 games, but it was 2 games of a masterclass from Leviamon. It was absolutely astonishing. Now, Elixir and Tommy NT will be getting a winners interview with Luke Campbell, and shortly after we'll probably be doing a winners ceremony. Elixir will be back on the mic in a minute. We'll be transferring over to the winners interview now.
All right, so we'll head it over to... let's just head it over to the 16x9.
Choice about the matchups you played today, how you feel about testing. You can avoid thoughts on the format if you'd like, but whatever you want to talk about, if you got any shout outs and stuff like that, that's fine. We're good to go. Let's get it going. So I'm here with Luke. Way to go,
Hi.
pal.
Thank you.
I would love to just congratulate you at the rip here. Fantastic performance in the finals. We were losing our minds at how good the Octomon's going in that game too. You got anything you want to tell us about sort of the deck building for Leviamon, the philosophy you're going with? Seems like you had a little bit of everything going down.
Yeah, it's kind of a little bit of everything because I flip-flopped like many times between because Levi's split between like the Cerberus build and then the build with like the in-archetype Dragomon and Wyrocedra. And one build uses like a normal antibody, one uses Protoform.
Sure.
And sometimes it can be bricky when you mix them, but I just thought Protoform's so good.
Oh yeah,
So
and it came up too.
it came up so many.
We were behind the microphone losing our minds when we saw the Gabu X find both activity bodies.
It's good when that happens.
Do you find that having this sort of jack of all trades ability, Hunter's material save and saving its 3s and 4s, got to be difficult for Leviamon on paper, but you made a great adaptation to resolve that.
I think just the ability to delete tamers is very nice. Like obviously he was saving very wide, like one under everything, but I can still cut him off like Taikis or Use or whatever.
Sure.
I'll be honest, it wasn't a matchup I thought about before today.
I was going to ask you about that. One of the things I think is really interesting about the way 15 is shaken out is you never know what you're going to have to go into your like recesses of your memory and see what Rhines you still remember.
So many decks, yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot. What have you played against today?
So round 1 was against Mirage. That was pretty okay. I mean, she broke pretty badly.
Sure.
Round 2, the Leviamon, absolute nightmare. I've not played that before. Yeah, there was a point where I had 2 Biting Crushers, he had 3 Biting Crushers, and we just let it resolve.
Checkers there.
Yeah, and
you go first.
Eventually I decked him out, and this was because of the Protoform, because basically all my stacks have Protoforming, because every time he killed my stack, it go back on security, and he couldn't check without giving it back to me.
Sure.
So that was definitely clutch there. After that was Nume, which was fine, because turn 1 Biting Crush, and then from there, it was just like he couldn't deal with the Leviathan.
Yeah, sometimes you put him so far behind.
Yeah.
What kind of Numemon were you playing against? You hear a lot about purple
Oh, sorry,
builds,
it was black, yeah.
Yeah. Seems like there was a lot of that today here at Salford Regional. What did you play after Numemon?
I played against the Blue Armors twice.
Wow, gosh.
Which, in that matchup, you kind of have to not rely on Biting Crush so much because, 1, you can't delete things, and 2, if you play out a Leviamon with no sources, it gets bounced by Zudo or the Black Magna.
Yeah.
So I just kind of went for big stacks in those games, and it worked out.
Sounds like flexibility was really your kind of number one tool at your advantage here today. Congratulations once again. Is there anything you'd like to specifically highlight about your event today? Any games you played, or any opponents you played against, or even anyone here from your testing group or partners you practiced with?
I don't know. Shout out to everyone from Liverpool who come. I know they didn't place as well as me, but
sometimes you got to show who's top dog.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a nice mat to walk into Locals with this week, though. I'll tell you what.
Oh, I'm not playing this deck again. I wasn't even going to play it today.
What had you on it? We heard a lot. Andrew was gushing about your Belfamon in the past.
I was going to play Belfamon, but I was like, surely I just lose to Leviamon because Leviamon. It's been so look-sucky for me on Locals. Like sometimes you do a full insane combo and have like 4 Leviamons on board. Sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
I did make one change recently to the deck, which was I have no Garurumons.
Oh, really?
So I have Garurumon X with no Garurumons. I've swapped them off for the Raemon, just because I was breaking so much that and hard playing Garurumons. I was like, I might as well just put Raemon in. At least he has an on-play and it's good. And you can do a stupid combo Wyrocedramon where you swing, delete a rookie, and then combo.
Sure. I want to ask you about the Raemons here because I know I get a lot of people. If you ever been on the sort of like dregs of a YouTube comment show, like, what can I cut for a Raemon? How do I make room? I don't have 80 pounds lying around. Looks like it came out huge for you today.
Yeah.
Is it definitely a deck building going forward, a constriction for the deck? Perhaps maybe going to price people out of Leviamon at this point?
Well, I think Leviamon kind of rotates out a little next set anyway.
Sure.
But Raemon is just probably going to be an eternal purple staple for a while.
Yeah.
They limited scatter modes. Your traces are limited on level 4, so draw and trash a lot. You have a little bit of the Guru engine. That's 5 cards. Raemon's just good for any deck that can play out a Digimon from trash as well. Get the on play.
And especially considering, they happen to have made it half black and given it cyborg support. And considering your new machine you're on, Matt, maybe you'll have a chance to play with some Raemons. I'm going to pass it back to the boys at the desk.
Sure.
Once again, congratulations, Luke. You did a great job.
All right, yeah, we're back. Also, we got photographers in the building. We got DigiDread just slightly off the mic. Our mic's on now. Okay, they're back now. And we are probably going to be closing out our what was our final round. Great interview from Tom. Appreciate it always. And shout outs to the rest of them. We don't know exactly who's getting their serial omnis just yet, so we're still going to be live for a little bit longer, probably for winners ceremony,
If I could
something
chime
like
in
that.
a little bit. So there's one guaranteed omni, obviously. Kudos one.
Once again, congrats.
That's 1 out of 8.
That's the first one in the UK.
Yeah, there are 10 people who can get one.
Wow.
Of which only 7 can get one.
So obviously the 2 guaranteed are the one guy who's got 1 draw, no losses. Obviously the guy who just won the event. The rest of them is fair game.
Yeah, so very, very exciting. So I guess 6 X1s are going to have a very good day, and 2 X1s are going to be silent on the way home.
If I'm Jaden, I'm feeling pretty good about it, to be honest. I think.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
I'm
Oh
feeling
no,
pretty
my
set.
only loss was the guy who won.
Oh damn, that's crazy.
Oh man, I hope his resistances were good. But yeah, Luke Campbell, if you just joined back, you just missed a full-on nearly 10-minute interview with our winner. But Luke, the Leviamon player, Purple Extraordinaire, has come and claimed the first serial omni in the UK. And then everyone else is going to be getting whatever's available.
Yeah.
So a little update on the standings. Obviously Luke, we just watched him. Tremendous Leviathan player. Marcus A taking it down table 2 to go 5 wins, no losses, 1 draw. Man in blue taking it down against that dude on table 3 to go X1. Minikill to go X1 on 3. Sid to go X1 on table 4. Comkid to go X1 on table 6, taking down Blaze Metaby. Table 7, X-Titan taking it down against the Handle. K-Beebs taking it down against Shiny Caterpillar to end X1. Saf taking it down against Russell Moore to go X1. And then Zavia taking it down against Catlafon to be our final X1 for the day.
Congratulations to this round's winners. A tentative breath of relief as you finish your now last round here at the Salford Regionals. You regroup with your friends. But boys, there are not going to be a room full of unbroken hearts here in a minute. We're going to have to see. If the challenge goes that not all of these folks who go X1 can do it, what hurts worse? That somebody gets the 420 or the 69 Omnimon, or that they get number 001?
It's arguably that you can be here for entire. So, like, say with Jaden, right? Obviously, Jaden's going to get a top 8 on me.
Oh, yeah.
But imagine if tiebreakers were that bad.
Oh,
We've
yeah.
seen it before.
He just farmed jobbers all the way.
We've seen it with someone like Dan Bang. Obviously, there was a story where he was in finals in a 9-round event, lost in finals, and then became 9th.
Yep.
Yeah, which is crazy. I mean, Usman at the Birmingham Regional, where he played Saf in finals, bubbled outside of getting on Twitter because they posted the top 4 and he finished 5th thanks to his tiebreakers. They always find a way to just make sure he's just. They don't tweet about him ever.
I'll tell you, boys, I am something of an expert in bubbling. And I pretty affectionately like to think of this as a learning experience, because when you look at the regional run and you look at the day you've had today here, May 2024, largely the final BT15 event of the format here in the UK, you've got to be feeling pretty good about the cumulative work you put in. A trophy card is nice, but a day with your friends, your testing group, vindication that you understood what you were going into, you had your practice. X1 is, degrees of variance off of an unbeaten player.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
A truly masterclass level peer group here, and I want to really reiterate to anyone watching, it is tough to walk in these shoes. These players have really stepped up. So once again, congratulations to our winners here. X1, but not everyone goes home with their shiniest piece of cardboard yet.
All right, yeah, so we got a little bit. We're going to go to what might just be a little bit of a short break with some music whilst we get ready for the winner ceremony. We will get our prizing and stuff done in front of the interview camera. We'll make sure it's ready. Maybe people won't walk in front of it this time.
Yeah, it'll be crazy.
I won't get my hopes up.
But yeah.
Hey, somebody said excuse me. That was nice.
Yeah, I mean, but if you enjoyed the stream, if you're on Twitch, make sure to follow Organized Play Events. If you haven't headed over to the YouTube, come follow me on YouTube. All the VODs will be coming out here later. Make sure to follow the co-cast. We've got JamboTCG on YouTube, Godfish Jambo on Twitter.
Yeah, Godfish.
And then also my fellow Misplay for Game podcast host, the Tommy NT.
All the TikTok, it's Misplay for Game Pod.
Yeah, we will not have any of this on there, probably. But we may have clips from this in a game show that we play once every 2 to 4 weeks. About guys that really like doing a lot of damage, maybe ending the game in one shot. But this has been us for now. We'll be back for the awards ceremony on the other side of the break. But it's been fun. Until next time.